Good evening, fellas. Robo Fury Main here, /warmongering neo-libertarian colonist, here to talk to you about war and international policy. For a disclaimer, I don't actually believe in colonialism or imperialism. I do believe that countries, to an extent, should bear the right to national sovereignty and self-determination, so long as they're in compliance with the guidelines of international human rights organizations. Now, to get that out of the way, I would like to declare that I also do believe in war to the extent that we should be able to defend our allies. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So, to give an example of why defending your allies is important and isolationism is cringe, I'm going to talk about the very simple principle of defending your allies. So, in this theoretical world where China, Iran, and Russia are in an alliance, for whatever reason, Iran is, Islamic theocracy, and Russia is sort of fascist leaning, and China has some communist tendencies, but it's generally just statist. It's state capitalist. But to get to the point, let's say that these horrible countries create a union and they decide they want to conquer the world. Okay, so according to many anti-war, anti-imperialist / colonialist people that you would hear, countries like the U.S. should stay completely out of foreign wars. They say stuff like "bring our troops home," anti-interventionism, not my problem. For example, I mean that's just the general consensus you get from these types of people. You hear people like people that say this kind of stuff, like Kyle Kulinski and Bernie Sanders, and on the right-wing side you have like Ron Paul. That there's a lot of really loud and in fact the anti-war sentiment has grown very loud, mainly I would say because of the not just defensive but offensive operations that the U.S. has had in many years, where they've been accused of just extracting oil from nations in the Middle East. And but to start with, the way we pulled out of Afghanistan was awful. I mean, we all know that. They were pushed so hard to pull out of Afghanistan, and they did so without giving the Afghan government and people, instilling, free, loving, secular, democratic values into the people, in order to build up their military and their institutions to defend against the Taliban. And that's why it went so awful. So, but to get to the point. All right, so defending the right to defend your allies is inherent to defending your values. So if you believe in democracy and freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and let's say you're pro-choice, which America should be, but it's fucking idiots, small brain Republicans, just can't. All right. Anyway, to get to the point, if you believe in freedom of choice and property rights and autonomy and all that good stuff, and your neighbors do as well, then your fucking meaningless national identity with all of its aesthetics and its cultural dances and songs and music and the fucking the eagle on the flag and all the cool patriotic cool stuff that you do isn't going to mean anything if you don't defend other like-minded countries that believe in free market capitalism and constitutional, federal, values that we share. So, if these awful countries formed a union and decided to invade the UK, according to people that are so incredibly anti-interventionist, this is what's going to happen. They're going to get picked apart. And they're going to get involved, and they're going to get consumed by this being, and now this being is going to become this being, and all the other countries are going to say, "Oh, we can't be involved in a colonialist, action by not." That would be interventionism if we defended our allies, but, let's say, they think Taiwan is a part of China. But even if that were the case, Taiwan believes in American, democratic values that, like freedom of speech, that is opposed to what China stands for. So even if Taiwan is a part of China, the act of not defending Taiwan, let's say if China invades Taiwan, then by extension they should be they're invading America because they are invading what America stands for. And so that's why America can't stand for that. And I don't know much about Ukraine, if they really have democratic values, if they believe in rights of journalism and the Second Amendment and all that stuff. I can't say that, but if Ukraine is objectively much closer to Western values than Russia is, then an attack from Russia and Ukraine should be seen as an attack on America, and that we have a moral obligation to stand up for that. When I see all the people that I see on Twitter, with their heads up their asses chanting about Western imperialism, have fucking hammer and sickles next to their name, and they're a bunch of retards, and they believe in this bullshit right here. It's not a coincidence that all the people that are opposed to Westerners in democratic countries defending each other are also the people that fucking suck. So that's why we have to take a stand and not just defend our arbitrary national identity within our own borders, but we have to take a stand for what's right. Because if not, then it's just going to spread, like a virus. Like, let's say Germany didn't invade the USS, didn't invade, the Soviet Union near the end of the war. That said that they held on, and they slowly started gaining more power, and they invaded smaller countries in Europe instead. And the rest of the countries, the rest of the Western countries just threw their hands in the air and said, "Oh, it's not us," and they're letting Nazi Germany centralize power and just get bigger and become an even potentially bigger problem in the future. That's why we can't afford to lose Taiwan. That's why we probably can't afford to lose Ukraine. Again, I don't know much about Ukraine, but that was bad enough with Hong Kong. I personally think that we could have done a lot more to stop the invasion of Hong Kong, although it was sold back to China, by the UK. But there's a lot more that we could have done to stop that. Now they basically replaced all of the Democratic candidates with their national security bill, which is really the Chinese mainland national security bill, and they've arrested all of the people that are opposed to integration with China, basically. And yeah. And it's just slowly taking over their sovereign region like a Chinese virus, like COVID. So that's where I'm gonna have to end this. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.